you. I promise. It's okay. See? I'm your friend. I won't hurt you. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know that would happen. I promise. I'm so sorry. Damn it, Audrey. What's happening to you?
Yeah, I remember my first day down here. I know, it's scary. But you're actually pretty lucky. The machine could have turned you into a searcher. You'll catch on pretty quickly, if you can stay alive. Lesson 1. Searchers don't have legs and they tend to swarm. Look, it's not good to stay in one place for too long around here. Keep moving, and stay close to the shadows. Take my advice. Head to the upper levels. It's safer there. Above everything else, stay away from the ink demon.
Awake at last. I was almost afraid you'd miss my party. Oh, it seems you're just a little overwhelmed. It's all right, honey. I understand. It's not every day one gets to bask in the glory of an angel. Alice Angel, to be exact. That's who I am. Sent from above. Impending perfection.
Oh, hello there. Are you looking for the way out? Oh, well, yes, and I'm afraid that means, well, you're stuck too.
Can't you move?
Not an inch. Perhaps you could get me unstuck? There we are. It's passed on. Now, you can move like me. Goodbye, Bubby. Try not to die.
That's where the ghosts live. Just beyond that door. The Keeper's prison. The pit. No one ever comes out. At least, they're never quite the same. But I could open the door for you. I do know how. I really do. But first, maybe play a game. Oh, I love to play games. I like hide and seek best. Find me and I'll open the door for you. I promise. Look away while I hide. And no peeking.
At the end of every crumbling empire, you gotta hide the treasures. Mr. Cohen brought me in to catalog and secure some of Joey Drew's more special assets in places no one will ever find them. Sure, that sounds completely legal, right? Anyway, I'll be leaving some clues around so we can find them later. Just remember, this nonsense wasn't my idea. So, here's my first little hint. I finally found a use for those silly motivational posters here in the atrium offices. They're sure to make quite an impact. Oh God, I can't believe I just said that.
Designation required. What are you? What is your purpose? I see. Erratic. Dangerous. We've not seen one like this before. The subject will stand in the designated location. Lethal object detected. The subject will submit all weapons for further screening. Disarm now. Remain still for examination. The subject is cleared for entry. My ink swells and boils. It consumes. I am the ink demon. The
Once upon a time, Audrey, there was a bitter old man who had lost just about everything.
Joey.
Right. The real Joey Drew. He blamed everyone but himself for his mistakes, but mostly he blamed his old business partner for abandoning their work years and years ago. A man by the name of Henry Stein, great artist and a good friend. In his anger, Joey used an evil machine to create another world.
Oh, you're here at last. It's so exciting, finally having you with us. Now, to give you some bearings, we're currently standing in the south wing. Wilson's laboratory is downstairs, and then there's the north wing. The ink demon got in there a while ago, and ever since, we've had to keep the north wing locked up tight. I'm afraid it's fallen into ruins by now. All those juicy, lovely books gone to waste. Only keepers go there these days, and they'll tear you apart limb from limb if Wilson isn't with you. So, mind your distance and you'll be just fine.
The keepers think you're a threat to their plans. They lock you away. Forever. Still, it's given me time to think. Things like, if you haven't eaten in years, you might not be human. I'm what they call a cycle breaker. Once upon a time, I knew how to start the cycle over. And when that happens, everything begins again. Completely new. Obviously, Wilson and the Keepers don't want that to happen.
At this point, I don't get what Joey's plan is for this company. The animations sure aren't being finished on time anymore, and I certainly don't see why we need this machine. It's noisy, it's messy, and who needs that much ink anyway? Also, get this. Joey had each one of us donate something from our workstation. We put them on these little pedestals in the break room to help appease the gods, Joey says. Keep things going. I think he's lost his mind. But hey, he writes the checks. But I tell you what, if one more of these pipes burst, I'm out of here.
And now, my dear, if you'll excuse me, I have a lot to prepare. We'll talk later, I promise. Besides, you must be very tired. A quick rest will do you good. Betty will show you to your room. She's my housekeeper, among other things. No, he's too powerful to destroy. So we sealed him away, trapped him in a different form. One that was smaller, harmless.
I decided to go for a walk this morning. Took a little stroll down to the park. Enjoyed the warm sun for a while, found a quiet bench, even grabbed a hot dog. It's been ages since I've done that. Tessa would kill me if she knew I've been off my diet. When I got back to the office, I stopped by the animation department and said hello to the troops. My gosh, they're getting younger every day. Either that or I'm just getting older. It all made me realize time is moving on. The hard struggles don't seem as dire as they used to. Life has other value. I think I'll go home early today. Maybe I'll even pick up a hot dog for Tessa.
The ink demon rises! Surrender yourself to the Lord of the Dark Puddles! It's time to believe!
Yeah, so those Gent Corporation boys are kind of strange. Every time I come back to work, they put in even more of their pointless gadgets. Last week, they built some kind of, electrical towers over near Animation Alley. This week, they added security codes for opening doors. Jeez, what kind of work do they think we do here anyways? Last I checked, we make toys and silly cartoons. This ain't Fort Knox, you know what I mean? Now, it's my job to look over these shipping invoices and remember a bunch of random numbers? Yeah, no freaking thank you. I'm just gonna record the door code here so I don't forget it. Double quota, that Mr. Flynn says. Double. I haven't even pulled a full day's work in that old toy assembly line in some 4 years. I don't intend on starting now. I got my corner, my little sipping canteen, and I do just fine. Double quota. I ain't even done half in months. Oh, but they won't fire me, no sir. Place this big, no one knows what everyone else is doing. So I'll turn up my radio, you put up my feet, cut the holes in my socks. 5 o'clock comes easy around here. Buddy.
You gotta follow your inspirations when you're a musician. Stick to what you know works. But when they built the new studio buildings, they all but filled in my office down in the old sewers. Turns out, I've gotten so accustomed to working in those disgusting conditions that now if my office doesn't stink, the lyrics I write do. So when gents started digging their massive utility shaft between their place and ours, I knew it'd be just the right spot for me to move in. Now I've got a song in my heart and a creative stench up my nose.
Good things always come in threes, they say. Bendy, Alice, and Boris. It just works. So when I showed my coworkers my design for a new 4th member of the Butcher Gang, you could almost hear the disgust at the lunch table. A ghost girl, they said? No one's gonna get it. They just laughed at my drawings, crumpled them up like trash. But I'll get Mr. Drew on my side. He'll understand. He's got to. Carly will join the Butcher Gang, and she'll be beloved by all. One way or another, I'll bring Carly to life.
When you animate, it's so much more than just motion. It's a way of life, an art, a passion. Each tiny movement is an emotional trigger to the audience. Get it wrong, and you will lose them. You must live the characters and to draw them. You must feel the motions in your mind. Act them out around your room. Today, I'm a clock, a dancing timekeeper. Tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock.
Joey happened to notice last week just how long it takes for us employees to get home every night. When you add in the traffic and the waiting for the elevators, you practically only have a few hours before you have to wake up and come back. So Joey had them build artist rest for us. Now we never have to leave work again, Joey says. Well, I'll admit, it's become quite the hangout spot down here, almost like it's own little district. But there's definitely some unsavory stuff going on too. Smoking, gambling, loud parties, you name it. At all hours of the night sometimes. For a place that's all about getting some shut-eye, there sure is a lot of noise around here.
I'm a fan of darkness. It just appeals to me. As old Norman would often say, people really become themselves when they're hidden in shadow. That creepy guy always had a story to tell about this place. But I think I found a few narrow passages even he didn't know about. I can watch, I can listen, I can even steal, and no one ever sees me. I'm just a ghost, living in the walls, peering from the darkness.
Well, Shawn, you finally did it. You went and told the boss exactly what's up. It's time to move on, I said to him. This toy man's ready for a new adventure. I have to admit, he took it far better than I expected. Probably because a lot of other people be ditching this month as well. But I don't pay no mind to Mr. Drew. I ain't leaving because of that old windbag. No, I've seen far worse in my day, that's for sure. I'm hitting the road because it's time for Shawn Flynn to see some open sky. Find myself a little cabin upstate. Somewhere the family and I can start anew. But before I go, I've made one last toy. A little parting present for the factory lads. Let's see how long it takes them to find it.
Well, we hit rock bottom. No doubt about it. And by all accounts, I don't even know how this studio's still going at all. Like, if you follow the money, you just hit a big old brick wall. Well, let me tell you, blank ledgers, spare cash, weird amounts that plain just don't add up. There's still income finding its way into the books, but I can only tell you for the life of me, I can't figure out where it's all coming from. Though the obvious answer here is a gent's privately pouring in some funds. And truth be told, they really creep me out. Especially that Mr. Gray. He doesn't seem to be motivated by money. And he sure as heck ain't telling us what he's really after. Just can't trust someone like that.
I don't like to ask questions. I believe everyone's got their own business. You hear something, you leave it alone. But when you've spent as much time in and out of a jug as I have, you learn to keep your mouth shut about things, you know? So when I saw this here ad in the newspaper that reads, Gent Corporation looking for research subjects pays $3.50 a week, I figured it'd be good for me. Easy money, right? With my record, you can't afford to be picky. But it turns out something really wrong is going on in this place. I mean, I've seen dead people before, but here, death is like a way of life. A clockwork march. They wheel out the bodies, and they disappear down the chute. Forgotten men from the street. Paid to die. $3.50 a week.
Something funny's going on around here. Call me suspicious if you wanna, but I know the signs of weirdness when I see 'em. Don't get me wrong, we've always had visitors around the studio, but lately, we're just getting one kind of visitor in particular. Gent Corporation employees. Tons of them. They're working in the hallways, ripping up the floors, taking the best toilets. You can't even get near the Little Devil Lounge these days. It's starting to feel less like an animation studio around here, and more like some crazy scientist's laboratory. It's just plain weirdness.
This has been the best week of my life. For once, we don't have Mr. Drew hanging over our shoulders. He ain't even stopped by at all. I'm turning out so many frames of animation, I can't even keep up with myself. Now, the only thing bothering me is that freak 2 desks over. Recent hire. Real weirdo. He keeps trying to show me some pictures he's been drawing. I tell you, this place has a curse. It's not one thing stopping you from getting things done. It's another.
This old town really has changed ever since that big gent building went up. Yesterday, I took a trip over the farmer's market, and they had the whole dang street ripped up. It was like a large hole that just plain swallowed the sidewalk. Men were going in and out with strange iron tools. Kind of looked like they were installing some kind of tunnel under the road. Perhaps just everywhere. Pete, behind the produce counter, was just shaking his head. They're up to no good, he kept saying. You'll see. This is how it always starts. Think old Pete might be right. But I don't like to dismiss people just on rumors. Only time will tell, I suppose.
It's my first week in the job at the Gent workshop, and I can tell already that this is going to be interesting. Do you think you can lift this steel girder? They asked me with a smug smile. I didn't even bother to answer. I just picked the whole thing up with one hand. You should have seen the wee men drop their jaws. Aye. All in all, I've noticed this building just isn't built for someone my size. Every time I walk by the workshop shelves, all the tools fall to the floor. That, and I gotta bend down for every doorway in the place. Still, there are some positives to working here. I mean, take that new secretary. The shy wee one with the blonde locks. The one who follows around Mr. Grey. I'm pretty sure she's been giving me and my muscles the eye. But I ain't no smooth talker. A work-worn man such as myself ain't got no business with a woman that fine.